big matches. We got some big heel turns. We got several tables smashing. We have several Randy Orton teases. That's Robert DeFelice. I am Kevin Kellam. This is your Raw post show for WrestleZone.com. Big main event, United States title match between Rey Mysterio. So proud to defend his family. So proud to be revived once again, Robert DeFelice. They're going against AJ Styles and those goons in the OC. Him and Styles had one heck of a match, but Randy had to muddle it up and get in there and tease AJ Styles, only for Rey Mysterio to scoop him up and get a pinfall. I thought it was a solid main event. What did you think?
I think Randy Orton, he's got that hypnotizing, almost Medusa-like wink. He winks at you and you're frozen, and you lose your title matches. Poor AJ Styles.
Yeah, it was. There were some highlights of the match that, as they called it a sunset flip wall bomb, where Rey Mysterio sunset flipped it out of the ring over Styles to power bomb him into the bracing wall outside the ring. It was pretty cool. I actually enjoyed that quite a bit. It's some innovative stuff in the match. He fended off the OC, kind of teasing several different finishes. But the Orton interruption, normally I would get mad about that, but I didn't get mad about it. It was a fair distraction. The way he did it, where he almost teased doing an RKO but didn't, was clever.
Well, I am wondering what they're going to do with Orton and AJ at the pay-per-view, because they didn't say, they didn't do anything with chairs. There wasn't like, oh, you're going to have a chairs match. You're going to have a ladder match. No, it's going to be nothing as far as we know right now, and that's surprising to me.
Mm-hmm. Other highlights on my Raw, and don't worry, we will cover the lowlights. Seth Rollins is officially a heel. He's officially with AOP. He teased, no, I'm not with them. I'm not with them. He lied. He lied to our faces, Robert.
He didn't lie. And this is actually the one thing I loved about this segment. It did not insult your intelligence. He came out and he said to the fans, I told you tonight I have nothing to do with them, and that was the truth. But you kept pushing and pushing, and I said, to hell with it. You want me with them? So now I'm going to be with them. I really enjoyed that. Like, they built it perfectly, but of course, here's the flip side of that. Now that he's heel, the internet loves him again.
Like, no, they love him again because he's a bad guy. It makes no sense. Did you like the flip up of the hood in the backseat of the car with that perfect lighting? I thought that was really well shot. Backstage, Owens is chasing him down after earlier in the night. Seth Rollins says, "I'm not with those guys. I'm not with those guys." Only for him to be assaulted when he starts to bash in a steel pipe that Rey Mysterio gave him. Starts to attack their car. He beat up Mojo Rawley earlier in the night. Who cares about Mojo? Sami Zayn, why are you coming out here? You're from SmackDown. I'll beat your guy out with a pipe. If you looked at the videos of Mojo, he got walloped with that pipe.
Yeah. He posted a lot of photos. He was feeling it. He was just happy to be back on Raw, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it was pretty brutal. But this turn of Seth Rollins in the backseat of the car when they're attacking the van, only for the AOP to do it, smashing Kevin Owens' head with a car door. I made this noise when I saw it on TV. Like you winced. It was one of the first really violent things in the night. And then he got curb stomped on the floor. He got taken out of there in an ambulance. No match maybe between Owens and Rollins for this Sunday's pay-per-view. Do you think we kind of get that as a surprise?
No, I'm thinking this is the main feud going into the Rumble, and then maybe they have a one-on-one at Chamber or Fastlane or whatever that February one is. But, yeah.
Let us know what you guys think. Sound off on last night's Monday Night Raw. Owens is on the shelf. Rollins cuts his heel promo, and this is something that was coming for a while. WWE in the modern age, because they have so much content, you don't just get that definitive, boom, I'm a heel now turn. You get those slow turns, and this kind of completes that cycle for him here over the past few weeks. Coming out of Survivor Series, Rollins going off on the fans, saying he has to push back. He defended the company. You guys just want to go with what's the flavor of the month. And here he is turning on the fans now with AOP. What do you think of this as a faction? I'm okay with it. I think there could be something here.
I don't love the long term of it, but I like that it got Seth to turn heel. I like that he's he feels more in his element, and he's just back to being a bad guy, and he can do that cheesy little laugh, and he's got the two heavies with him. I think it works.
Other people chiming in. Michael Mahoney saying an abrupt ending looked like an old WCW episode. Well, that's a cliffhanger.
Oh yeah, this was oddly paced.
But I didn't mind it. It worked. There was some promos like going into commercials that came out. I know they've done that before and it didn't click. This week it felt like it clicked. I didn't feel like the show lost me. For a 3-hour show, it felt pretty good. A lot of good matches on the undercard as well. I want to talk about this. Aleister Black is a superstar. This guy came off like a superstar. His entrance is really starting to get over with a lot of fans who didn't know him before during his NXT days. He faced Akira Tozawa, who I guess is becoming the glorified journeyman of Monday Night Raw and getting fed to people in these kind of competitive matches. Did you see this spot where Tozawa leapt through the ropes for a suicide dive to get kicked out of midair?
That wasn't a kick. That was a solid knee to the face.
Face.
Oof, probably lost some teeth on that one. Rattling some chiclets, you know what I mean?
It was brutal, man. It was brutal. There were so many cringy moments in a good way tonight in terms of violence. Tozawa setting up his match with Buddy Murphy. Buddy Murphy also in action. He was successful as well. Buddy Murphy versus Aleister Black on the I hope this doesn't get booted down to the kickoff. This Sunday at the TLC pay-per-view on the WWE Network. What do you think of these pairing? It seems like these guys have been trying to go after each other for a while, just doing simple teases. Nothing groundbreaking, but two really strong guys can have a great match.
If this doesn't go on the pre-show, they can have the sleeper match of the year.
Wow.
Nobody's seeing this coming. This is Buddy Murphy's first pay-per-view outside of the Cruiserweight division ever. So I think this is a really good opportunity for both guys.
Mm-hmm. Casey Rinaldi texting here about the Seth Rollins alliance with the Authors of Pain, the AOP, saying they better call it the Shield of Pain or the Architect of Pain.
I think we're going with Architects of Pain. I think somewhere along the line that shirt is going to get made. Yeah. Akam and Razor, great big dudes. I don't know why they got rid of Paul Ellering a few years ago. Maybe he just didn't want to do the road schedule, but they need a guy with them, and Seth is that guy and can have some great matches with them as well.
Mm-hmm. Big title match last night as well with the Street Profits, their first shot here at the Viking Raiders. This was another hard-hitting affair. I don't know who got in the ear of everyone in the Raw locker room and said, guys, dial it up a notch. We want to see some real hard-hitting stuff because we got a lot of it tonight, and this match was another example of it. Back and forth, big teases. Street Profits had a couple of shots here where it was pretty close. You got to enjoy Montez Ford. This guy is just so charismatic in the ring, physically, on the mic. Really shouts out there here. But Viking Raiders blast them down, and they get the win. What did you think of this? Raiders looking strong going into this weekend.
I don't think – are they fighting this weekend? I don't know if they are, but –
there's talk of them going up against the OC, Gallows, and Anderson, but the match hasn't been made. It's such an odd thing with this pay-per-view. But I think that's also maybe the case of WWE has so much built-in audience. Maybe they don't have to make all these matches. They just kind of have to lead you to believe that that's going to happen, then they do it.
Right.
I mean, I don't think you need to make a ton of matches on a pay-per-view. They have more than enough made already, and they can add some day of. I don't think it's that bad. If they've conditioned you for long enough to be like this, but with social media, they can just make a match whenever they want. There's so many people online already.
I think it'll be really good. Mm-hmm. If they do end up getting the match, I think the OC deserves the belt. They never seem to get a lot of time with titles, but I think that if they get the match with what AJ is doing, they can be strong heels going into WrestleMania season.
Mm-hmm. Other parts of Raw. Now, we talked about the stuff we liked. Now we got to talk about the stuff we don't like. Lana and Rusev opened up the show with Divorce Court. Now, you and I have both described this as it's so bad, it's good, because they just performed the heck out of this. And I would say this was another example of it, but it definitely wasn't great. Lana knows how to get her heat. She just knows how to be over the top and ridiculous. And Rusev is now wearing Donald Duck t-shirts that he tucks into his pants. What is going on here?
So I love Common Man Rusev, who wears painting Bob Ross shirts, and he comes to his divorce wearing a blazer and a Donald Duck shirt, and he's getting the Rusev Day thing over. Lana's overacting screams to me that they're just like having the time of their lives, and they're backstage like, how can we make this so bad it's good tonight? And she's just, you broke the law. It's your fault we're getting divorced.
You broke the law. This segment ends with Bobby Lashley getting smashed through the table. It was long and drawn out. It was a little bit too long. It was probably just 5-10 minutes too long. I don't hate this and despise it like everyone else. I think it's fun fodder for casual fans. The numbers respond to it. You can see people talk about it. This is the number one thing I hear fans talk about besides Seth Rollins turning recently, or The Fiend, is this. So you can say whatever you want, but this is a pretty big deal. So we're getting a tables match between Rusev and Lashley. Will this be satisfying for the fans?
I'm sad there's no like weird Lana stipulation, but I do think it'll be satisfying for the fans if it's over. I think if they do a thing where Lashley wins, but Rusev somehow vows revenge, and it's not over, then we're sad. But then there's this. They actually did sign in-character divorce papers. It wasn't like the proceedings got held up or anything. Lana is signed. Rusev is not. Yes, I'm trying to speculate a little bit here, but there's something to that, I think.
Casey saying, so bad it's good is a perfect description of divorce court. Lana is she's the real MVP.
I don't know if I'd go that far. Lashley, who's an NCAA champion, former Bellator, I think undefeated Bellator fighter, Impact World Champion, he's really not getting the better of Rusev on any of these exchanges.
No, Rusev's coming off like he has a lot of personality in these things, so I can at least take that from it.
As it stands, maybe there are certain supplements that enhance certain things, but do not enhance your ability to get the job done in the ring.
Fair. Now, other things on Raw, as I mentioned, there were some bad, but I really think the good outweighed the bad. And it's odd because what is this building to? I think it builds to like something that would be 2 weeks from now instead of just this Sunday. But that's the world we're in. I enjoyed the angle with Becky Lynch taking on the Kabuki Warriors, kind of a follow-up to Charlotte taking them on in her own match, still keeping Charlotte and Becky at odds with one another. But this match was really violent. Becky Lynch nearly defeated them a couple of times, only for them to cut it off in this handicap situation and then blast her through a table with an elbow drop off the top rope. This looked so cool. The way it was shot, it almost looked like the table exploded out at the camera. I love the angle of it. I love the idea of Kairi and Asuka cutting promos in Japanese and being asked to explain it to somebody. I think it's kind of interesting. It's like a big FU to everyone. It was something else. Also on the lower card, you got to see Humberto Carrillo with a surprise victory over Andrade. It was a bit of a shocker. Overall, thumbs up Raw. I'm giving it a 7.5. It was one of my favorite Raws that I've watched in a while. Maybe even the best I've seen since that first episode after Survivor Series. A lot better than last week, too.
I thought it was a great show. It progressed a lot, and it made it feel quicker. I'm giving it not a 7.5, but I'll give it an exact 7. Very good show.
An exact 7. We'll return later today with our regular WZ Daily show. If you don't do that already, make sure you follow our page, give it a like, but follow so then you get notifications when we're live. And if you can't catch it all, go get the podcast. You can share the links, pass it on, get the podcast, subscribe on WrestleZone Radio on your podcast app of choice. Get everything we're doing. The Raw post shows, these are video only, but a bunch of different things are on the podcast right now. Chris Jericho talking to us about the roll of the dice that was his jump to AEW. John Moxley talking about how Jericho doesn't want to F with him. Lacey Evans calling me a nasty, and Seth Rollins calling out CM Punk. These are all interviews that we got in depth. You can listen to them right now in the WrestleZone podcast feed. Go check them out. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe for everything in the world of wrestling, wrestling beyond, and so forth and such as. There's only one place you go to. It's WrestleZone.com. We'll be back with you later today on The Daily.